Have you been interested in using a digital drawing program but don't want to pay big bucks or a monthly subscription fee just to try it out? In this video, I'm going to introduce you to Inkscape, a completely free vector graphic tool that can do much more than just let you draw. I use it for a lot of upscaling public domain and AI images, as well as using its filters to make different looks for the images I find, so I can kind of make things more unique or make them a little better than what I was able to find. Hi, my name is Donna and welcome to Dylan Creates, where I share what I know and what I am learning about digital design, crafting, and other creative pursuits. I'm going to start out by taking you to the Inkscape website. It's at inkscape.org. As you see, this is a program that will download and run from your computer. So we have the download right here. We also have a download up here. They want to make sure that you know where to get your download. You will be able to use this without logging into any online interface. You don't even need an internet connection. So it's like a real computer program instead of having to go through somebody's portal to be able to get access to the program that's on your computer, like a certain company, which I still use. So I'm not going to talk bad about them because I do still like my Creative Cloud. This is an open source editor and it's completely free. Yes, I did repeat myself. It is free. When you're just learning, you don't want to spend a lot of money. So this is a great place to start learning how to do digital projects, if you really want to start learning how to start drawing digitally on your computer. I also think Inkscape is a little less intimidating to learn how to use than something like Adobe Illustrator. Illustrator can be very overwhelming. There's also a community area. You can do chats and forums. There's different things here. I haven't actually participated in any of this, but if you are familiar or like to get in on these, they have even a global Inkscape community where people can hang out and talk about and learn about different things about Inkscape. They have Italian, French, Russian. There's an even Indonesian site. So if you're out there and you're not from the US or an English-speaking country, we've got some other formats there that you can go to. Great variety. And then there is a learn area. We just go down to learn. It basically gives you all the different things, different tutorials. Most of those are available on YouTube. These are going to be more, if I just click on the basic tutorial, you'll see that it's very written. It's basically a manual, a basic manual on how to do certain things inside of Inkscape. But if you're like me and you like to watch videos, we can go back to the Learn page and you'll see they have Inkscape tutorials on YouTube. Logos by Nick is one of my favorites. He is a great person to go learn just about Inkscape. He does a couple other programs as well that are pay for, but he does do a lot with Inkscape. Inkscape actually is pretty amazing of what you can do with it. Now I'm going to go over to the program itself that's on my computer. I have the icon on my taskbar, so I just need to click on that and open it. And I have this, you'll see this, show this every time. When you download it, you will get this. The first time it'll actually probably be on the quick setup and it'll have different canvases, so different backgrounds that you like. I just go with the default. There's also dark, light checkerboard. It's whatever you'd like it to be, so you can change that. There is the keyboard. This is for people who may be using other systems like Illustrator or Corel Draw. They have there's even a there's even an Inkscape keyboard for Mac OS for a certain version of the OS system. But I just go with the default. I use Photoshop a lot, but I don't use Illustrator, so I don't know those same shortcuts. They're probably similar between Photoshop and Illustrator. I don't know, but I don't pay for Illustrator. This is my program that I use, or I use the Photoshop. And the appearance, there's different appearances you can use if you like. There's the classic Inkscape, which is sort of pale colors, but I like using the colorful. I like the more brighter colors, easier to see. You can also change it if you like a dark theme background for your program. You can do that. I just use the basic. Some people feel dark easier to read. I feel light's easier to read. So you would just save that if you made any changes. There's also a section of supported by you. Learn how to fund Inkscape if you'd like to donate. Now in the time to draw, this is where it opens up for me default every time. Once you download it, you feel like you don't want this to come up every time, you can just unclick this down here and it won't come up. I like to have it just as a reminder of what to do. Plus, it has these really nice options over here on the left menu. Existing files is what the default it comes up with. There's also a print with all the templates, so you can choose a document size that you want to work on. There's different documents there. If you're doing a social media type of post, it already has a lot of the default sizes for that, so you can choose one of those. And then if you're wanting to do something that fits on a certain screen, you have that template. Shape Builder, this is something I've never used. It's really kind of cool. If you open it up, I would suggest going in there and playing with that. In fact, whatever you do, because I'm not going to show you a lot of detail on this today, this is just an introduction. Download it and then just get in here and play with it. And then there's custom, there's some other things that they have in here. But we're just going to go to, I'm just going to go to new document. It's going to default to a certain size. When you first open it, you may not see this over here. Or if you look at other tutorials, this may not be here right away when they're showing you things. There's a little handlebar thing here that you can pull that out and you can look at some of the different things here. I like to pull it out just a little bit farther. I have a larger screen and I like to be able to read these tops in here. To me, the visual and the textual is better for my brain. And this is what it shows you. You get, when you open it up and you don't choose a document size, it just does the default of, I'm going to right click, it does the default document properties and it's A4. I'm going to change this one. I want to go into inches. So it tells you what the inches is of A4. And I can make, say if I wanted 8 by 10 or whatever I wanted to do, I could do right here. But I'm going to go and just do US letter, just for default for today. There's different things in here that you can set up, like your grids, grid colors. I mean guides, those are guides. Then grids, there's different grids. I usually don't mess with that, or colors, scripting. Metadata is something I've been thinking about putting in, because basically this is all your informational stuff about your files. Two things that helps with is finding files in your library. And the other thing is that if you were to upload your artwork somewhere, it would have this embedded into the file itself. So if you click on properties of an item, and it will show you some of these particular attributes with that. But right now I'm not going to put anything in there, so we're good for that. And if you don't like what's up here, it's in millimeters. If you want to change it to inches, so you can see that you got the 8.5 by the 11 piece of paper here. Or if you're in someplace that you want centimeters, and you can also do pixels. So whichever one that you're more comfortable with. I like to do inches, though sometimes I don't even change it at all. I just get in here and start working. We're going to take a look. The arrow is what default is on. This is an arrow that is common in most programs. It's what you choose and select with. It's actually called the selector tool. Next is the node tool, and this you'll use once you have a vector image on here, and you can edit the image using the nodes. And this is the shape builder tool, and you see it says here you must select some objects, use the shape builder tool. This is a really cool tool. We'll go draw a few items here and I'll just show you real quick. And then your next thing are your shapes. These are the ones that I used when I made graphic designs to put into Repr so that I can have crisp, clean edges to make better patterns. I feel like making my own shapes and colors makes better images in Repr. So what if we just draw a triangle? We just like this. See how it's green? It's because the last time I was in here I had green selected. I can change it. The cool thing about Inkscape 2 is that you can change the color at any time of an object, and I can make it different colors. Make it a blue. So if we draw a circle, alright, so we've drawn a circle. Let's go back to this up here, but we do need to select two things, and we'll go to that. And the minus up here, you'll have a finish button, which is the check mark or the X. You also have a plus and a minus. So if I minus, which is what I'm on now, and I say I want to minus something, it will take out that particular thing. Then if I said I'm finished, See what it did? It took out that section. Of course, if I didn't like it, I can do Control Z, which is the undo on a Windows. I believe it's Command Z on a Mac. It's been a while since I've worked on a Mac. I had to switch over at one point in time because I couldn't afford a Mac. And I didn't work for a place. I've worked almost everywhere I've worked. Defaulted to a Mac system in education and publishing. But then when I got to where I work now, we're a full PC, and I had to hand in my Mac to my last job, and it was very sad. But I do both systems. I don't really care. The only system I haven't really worked with is Linux. So if anybody out there has Linux and can tell me about that, about if you like it better than either of these systems, feel free to put that in the comments below. So if I do an ad, and I do this, I want to see what happens if I finish. It does the same things. Now if I go back, so that's basically what you're going to do. You're going to be like, you can change, like say I wanted to subtract that in the middle. I still have to select both items though. And go back to the shape thing. Go to subtract the center, say I'm finished, and see how it that's basically the shape builder. You can build shapes that way. The spiral is something that I used in my one design. So we're going to take off, we'll take off that for now. We'll back up. And then we've got the pen tool. And with the pen tool, you have 4 different modes up here. I don't know what all these exactly are. I just usually choose one. And see how it has this little curve thing? Now, and it filled it in with black because that's the default that's in here. This is where you go back to the node tool when you see the nodes. This is when you can change a design that you've already been working on. And because of the curve tool, it'll let you do, this is great for making simple little designs. So the sky's the limit. You can draw. Pencil tool is basically just drawing with a pencil. So this is the calligraphy tool, and we just use it just kind of like a paintbrush, but it's going to have a calligraphy angle. So you see how it's there. So if we increase the angle, let's create that to 45, see what happens. A little bit different, you can't really tell it. So if we increase the width, there's a little bit of the width. That looks a little bit different than that one. So yeah, you can draw letters this way to make them just look like using a calligraphy pen. It'd probably be better to use a little, if you had like a little Wacom tablet or a graphic tablet. I have one. I don't have it hooked up right now. And then there is, of course, the text tool, which basically you just type in a word, and to change the type of font, you can do here, and then you can change the size. You can also go back to your little arrow so we can move it around and change the size that way. Also, when you're doing this, again, we could have done it with any of these things that we just did, but with the hello here, I go down there and I can change the color. Oh, that wasn't a very different one. So you just go around and you can change the color of everything. And when you click on it, let's see if we do it to that one, match that one, there we go. But because these were each done in a little different stroke, you have to choose each piece. That's the part about being vectors. Plus you'll notice over here, Layers and Objects tab is open, and you can tell when I've clicked on something, which path or which item it's on, the layers. So we'll go back to here, we'll get that one, and we'll do that one. So now we've changed that. Okay, hello. That's actually a little bit different color. There, now we've made it match. That's basically the text. Great for doing if you're doing t-shirt designs or scrapbooking and you want your own special words and you want them a certain size and you want them to be, your own without having to go search down for letters or something and you have a Cricut machine, these are things that you can do. Or if you just want to print out letters for straight onto paper, if you have a nice printer that you can do onto a background, there's different ways. I'm sure your brain is just thinking of different ways you can use this. If the only thing that you really want it for is text and you think this is cool and you'll be able to do some other designs with text, I mean, that's the great thing about being a free program. There's also some other things down here we're not really going to get into. A gradient tool so you can change the color in the thing. There's a mesh tool so you can distort items. A dropper tool just like in other items. Basically, you can go take your color and it'll change the thing down here to be a color. And I can take the paint bucket and then I can click on something else and it colors it in. So it does the fill part. And then there's a tweak tool, a spray tool that I haven't really played with that much. I really need to do, it says spray copies or clones of objects. It does some pretty wild stuff. And then the erase tool. This one is you can do different things. There's one that cuts a path from it. So it takes that out so you can erase that. But I'd say my most used one is anything the eraser touches, it erases. So there, that's how you clean off a page really quickly. And then there's also a connector tool, which is like for making flowcharts, a measure tool, zoom tool, which is like zooming in, and a page tool. This is kind of nice if you're wanting to do additional pages. So you have a document and you want to make a pair of images to be similar to each other and you want to copy one to the other. You just click on that little add page button up there and now you have 2 pages. Easy peasy. And then of course we have the normal tab file buttons at the top for doing different processes. There are some, like here's the zoom, which is similar as doing the zoom magnifying scope. There's color management, layers. You can do different, shifting the layers, doing the objects, the path. There's text, different text things, filters. Filters we're going to get into later as we make some projects in the near future. And then there's some extensions, which I haven't done yet, but I did video from Logos by Nick just came out about how to add extensions to Inkscape, so that's something I'm going to have to go and watch because I haven't done that. That's basically it. You're ready to just come in and download it, draw with it, watch some videos, get familiar with it. So now when you come back to my channel, because we're going to learn how to make an image large enough to make a fabric panel to put into Spoonflower. So you have your own designed fabric panel that you wouldn't be able to get at a fabric store because it's all your own. You can make it as personal as you want. You can make personalized fabric wall hangings. There are a lot of different things that you can do just by putting it in. So you can make it large enough with the proper DPI and resolution. So we'll take a look at that in the next video. Again, if you have any questions or any suggestions of what you would like to see next or any particular item in here after you go out and use Inkscape for a little bit and curious about what else you could do with it, just let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe so you can see what I do at that fabric panel. Thanks a lot for stopping by and I'll see you in the next video.